All right, so Unit 2, the biggest unit of the semester, and of course this is going to be the biggest note packet of the semester. So let's talk about, first you need to know for this unit is how to factor. And so if you are struggling with factoring, go back and look at Unit 2. There was 3 days that we spent on it. There's GCF, factoring by grouping, the product sum trinomial, that's whenever you do the X thing. And when A equals 0, you need two numbers that multiply to be the C and add to be the B. And if it's A is not 1, you do what multiplies to be A times C and still adds to be the B. Difference of squares. A squared minus B squared is equal to A plus B times A minus B. Sum or difference of cubes, this fun formula. So A cubed plus B cubed is equal to A plus B times A squared minus AB plus B squared. Then the difference one is A minus B times A squared plus AB plus B squared. Okay, then the last one doesn't come up, the perfect square. So A plus B squared is equal to, and this one I didn't talk about as much because you can factor it and you'll get the answer, or you can distribute it out. But the shortcut for this one is A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. Okay, so now let's talk about parabolas. So the parent function of just good old x squared. I'm not going to mess with this table. So remember where the parent function of a parabola starts? It is at 0, 0. And then it goes over 1, up 1. And now this is where, remember it's a curve. It's not a straight line like the absolute value. Then over 2, up 4, over 3, up 9. You can keep going, 4 up 16, 5 up 25, and so on. So then draw your curve. Make sure it is a curve and not a V. And your arrows. And there is your parent function. All right, so of that parent function, what is your vertex? At 0, 0. On this print a little weird. Axis of symmetry is x equals 0. Your domain, you're going to have to know domain and range for your final. So it is from negative infinity to positive infinity. And your range is up and down, so it starts at 0 and then goes up to infinity. And make sure you have a bracket on that 0. Okay, vertex form of a quadratic, my favorite way to graph them, is y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. So your vertex is hk here. All right, so you might remember this table. It looks very similar to the absolute value table. So if it's plus 2 inside, that would be left 2. Then the next one would be right 3. Plus 4 on the outside will be up 4. Minus 1 on the outside is down 1. A 1/2 out front is a shrink with a scale factor of 1/2. The last one is stretch, scale factor of 2. Oh, and there's one more. The negative out front is, of course, a reflection, which makes it a sad parabola. All right, so let's graph. We've got this one, which is right 4, down 8. So right 4, down 8. And then it's over 1, up 1. Over 2, up 4. over 3 up 9. We could even go up 16 if we wanted. Let's do it. Okay, so fun. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so then draw your parabola. Dang, that's a pretty decent looking parabola. Okay, there she is. All right, next problem. This one is a reflection. Left 1, and then up 7. So there's your vertex, and since it's a reflection, it's the same slopes, it's just sad. So over 1, down 1, over 2, down 4, and over 3, down 9. I could do 16, I'm just not gonna mess with it. I already had too much fun. Okay, so with the last one, draw it. Don't forget your arrows. Boom. Okay, this one. This is a stretch, the scale factor of 2. Left 1, down 1. So remember, whenever you have a stretch or a shrink, this is how we like to do it. So usually you have over and then up. It's usually over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, 3, 9, 4, 16, and so on. Since this one has a stretch, it's a scale factor, you have to multiply it. So it'll be over 1, up 1 times 2, which is 2, over 2, up 8, 3, up 18, and 4, up 32, but absolutely not, I'm not doing that. Okay, so let's plot it. We got to go left 1, down 1, and then over 1, up 2, over 2, up 8. I think that's all I can fit on my graph, unfortunately. So draw it. The arrows, boom. Okay, now this one we've got, what is this? So a lot. Reflection, shrink with a scale factor of 1/2, right 2, up 3. Okay, since there is a shrink, I'm going to do my little table. Ooh, this is a reflection, so instead of going over and up, this is going to go over and down. And then your scale factor, so usually over 1, down 1, 2, 4, 3, 9, 4, 16. All right, but with this scale factor, we're going to have to multiply each one of those ones in the down column by 1/2. So over 1, down 1/2, over 2, down 1/2 times 4, 2. This would be 9/2, or you could say 4.5, whatever, same thing. And the last one would be 8. Okay, so let's graph it. We got to start right 2, up 3. There's your vertex. Then we got to go over 1, down 1/2, over 2, down 2, over 3, down 4.5. We're getting real fancy now. And then you could do over 4, down 8. Might as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think that's in the right spot. All right, connect them. There you go. Okay, that's it for those. So now let's talk about standard form for a quadratic, for a parabola. That's when it's y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So if your a is greater than 0, aka it's positive, so if the a is positive, your graph opens up. And if it's less than 0 or negative, it opens down. Your y-intercept is always 0c. Axis of symmetry, that formula is negative b over 2a. All right, and so the x-coordinate of your vertex is your axis of symmetry, and then you substitute that value for x and solve for the y-coordinate of the vertex. All right, let's do one. So we got to find our axis of symmetry first. So the formula is negative b over 2a, so negative 6 over 2 times 2, or 2 times 1, excuse me. 2 times 1 would be negative 6 over 2, so negative 3. So x equals negative 3 is my axis of symmetry. Now my vertex is going to be negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 10, 18, negative 9. Would it be, I believe it's positive 1. Okay, and so your vertex is at negative 3, 1, and then the last thing is your y-intercept is just 0, 10. Okay, so let's draw our axis of symmetry first. So we've got negative 3. There's going to be a vertical line right there. Okay, and then our vertex, negative 3, negative 3, 1. And then your y-intercept is 10. So now do the 10 in the opposite direction. So it's 3-way, 1, 2, 3. Draw it. Boom, you're done. Okay, let's just talk about this one real fast. What is the domain? Because you're going to have to know domain and range of parabolas. Domain is negative infinity to infinity because it goes left and right all the directions. Okay, range. This is the harder one. So the minimum, the bottom, is going to be at the y value of 1. And then it goes up to infinity, and make sure you have a bracket around that 1. So maybe that's something that you need to work on, domain and range, because I'm telling you it is on your test. Okay, this one, so let's do the same thing. Axis of symmetry, negative 4 over 2 times negative 2. Ends up being 1. Vertex, it's going to be negative 2 times 1 squared plus 4 times 1 minus 7. So that would be 2. I believe it's negative 5. I'm going quick, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong. So 1, negative 5 is your vertex. Your y-intercept is at 0, negative 7. Let's graph it. Axis of symmetry is at 1. Vertex 1, negative 5. And then 0, negative 7. This is right, I believe. And then graph it. Okay, so now systems with 3 variables. So there's a lot with this. This is a heavy problem. So pick your favorite row, then combine your favorite row with the other 2, and you got to eliminate the same variable out of both of them. Combine your 2 rows and then eliminate again until you get one answer, and then substitute back in, solve for the second answer, substitute it back in, solve for the last answer. And then for these, this is not asking, I know we're going to in a minute, but this one is wanting you to just solve for x, y, and z, not write the equation as a parabola. So you're just going to write the coordinate like that with parentheses and then the 3 things with commas in between. Okay, there's a few different ways to look at this, but I first think like which variable will be the easiest to get by itself, and I think z's will. And here's why, because that's a positive 6z, the other 2 are negative 3s, and I know I can multiply those and they'll become something that will cancel. So I'm going to try to get the z's to cancel. So I'm going to leave this one as that, so I'll write it right here, negative 5x plus 4y, because I'm okay with the positive 6z. Actually, sorry, erase that. I'm going to come back to that because I want that in the middle. You'll see why in a second. Okay, sorry. Go back. Second row. What am I going to have to do to multiply that by, or what am I going to have to multiply that by to get it to cancel with the 6z? And that's just a 2. So this would be 6x plus 10y minus 6z equals 18. And don't forget to multiply every single piece. Don't miss anything. Now I'm gonna write that, my favorite row in the middle. I didn't have to do that. It's just a personal preference. I'm just gonna copy it exactly because it already cancels. And then the last one, I'm gonna have to multiply this by, looks like 2 as well. So it'll be 8x minus 10y minus 6z equals 16. Okay, so let's go ahead and combine. So let's combine these two. So I'm going to add them, so that way the z's cancel. So I have x plus 14y equals negative 1. All right? And then go ahead and combine these two by adding. So that would be 3x minus 6y equals negative 3. All right, now let's see which variable looks like it's going to be the easiest to get to cancel out of here. I think x's, so I'm going to multiply this by negative 3, so they're opposites. I could do positives 3, and then I'd have to subtract the equation. I just prefer to add them if I have the choice. I just think I'm less likely to make a mistake. So negative 3x minus, I think that's 42y equals 3. Cool, so go ahead and add those x's and the cancels, or the constants cancel, so we have negative 48y equals 0. Sweet, so that means our y is 0. Cool, I have one answer. Now let's plug that back in to find our x. I'm going to do x next. I'm going to plug it into this one right here. So I'm going to have x plus 14 times 0 equals negative 1. That must mean x is negative 1, right? Oops. There's another answer. So now I'm going to take that and plug it into one of the 3 originals. It doesn't really matter. Let's do, I don't know, I'll just do the top one. So I'm going to plug that in there, and then the 0 for the y. So right off the side over here, we have negative 5 times negative 1 plus 4 times 0 plus 6z equals negative 19. So that's what? 5 plus 6z equals negative 19. Subtract 5. 6z equals negative 24. So z must equal negative 4. Okay, so now they just, like I said, they don't want you to write it as a parabola. They want you to just write it so your x comes first, negative 1, 0, negative 4. All right. Now, let's do one with the parabola. So this is taking that same topic. This is 4.3 part 2. And adding a little bit of extra. So remember, we're going to make it into standard form of a parabola, which is this that we talked about earlier in this video. Okay, so we're going to be plugging in each of these coordinates into that equation. So we have our coordinates. All right, and so I'm going to be plugging in the x and the y up into that standard form. So it would have negative 6 equals a times 2 squared plus b times 2 plus c. Then the next one, is that a 0, 2, right? Yep. So 2 equals a times 0 squared plus b times 0 plus c. Hey, that makes me excited. I'll get to that later. Okay, so 26 equals a times 2 squared, negative 2, excuse me, plus b times negative 2 plus c. Okay, clean it up. And remember, I like to write it just like we did on the last one, where the constants are on the right side, so I kind of flip it over. So this will be 4a plus 2b plus c equals negative 6. Cool. This next line, this is why I was like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. That ends up being c equals 2. So right off the bat, we have an answer. like that. So then the next one would be 4a minus 2b plus c equals 26. Okay, so there's a few different ways you can look about this. You could plug in the 2 now. I'm going to choose to combine these equations, and it looks like they're ready for me to add them, and those b's will cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and add those. So you're going to have 8a, the b's cancel, plus 2c equals 20. And then I'm going to sub in, I know c is 2, so I'm going to sub that in. So 8a plus 2 times 2 equals 20. So 8a plus 4 equals 20. I'm getting a is 2. Sweet, so I have my second letter, I have a and I have c. Let's figure out b. So I need to plug it into one of these original or one of these equations right here or here. It doesn't matter, I'm just gonna pick the top one. Okay, so I have 4, and I know my a is 2, so 4 times 2 plus 2b plus 2 equals negative 6. Right, that's 8 plus 2, so 2b plus 10 equals negative 6, minus 10, 2b equals negative 16, divided by 2 equals 8, negative 8. Okay, so let's put all of this together. So I'm going to plug the a, b, and c into my regular standard form of a parabola. So it's going to be y equals 2x squared plus my b is negative 8. So actually minus 8x plus 2. Okay, that is it for unit 1 or unit 2. I'm only going to break this up into 2 chunks because it's such a long video. So thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.